Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. After Karnataka, now the hijab row and debate is disturbing classrooms in Kerala. A controversy erupted at St. Rita's public school in Kochi after an 8th grade Muslim student insisted on wearing hijab inside school premises and was subsequently denied entry. Matter escalated to such an extent that the school had to file a police complaint seeking protection from the Kerala High Court and declaring a 2-day holiday from October 13 and 14 because protests erupted at its premises. The school has made it clear the ward's parents had accepted the uniform policy previously, so why this change mid-term? But even as it is seeming that better sense prevailed on ground, the state government intervened, attacking the school. The left government has now issued a directive to the school asking them to allow students to wear headscarves despite legal precedents that put institutional policy above individual freedoms. The BJP has latched on to this as another example of Muslim appeasement, claiming STPI role behind the protests as well. After Karnataka hijab row was settled, what explains this sudden controversy in Kerala all over again? Why is it that parents or groups are agitating for bringing in the hijab into the classroom while opposing other religious markers in several cases? Is this really about religious freedom and expression or about creating exclusivity for only one section? And has the premature dictat by the state government in a way uncovered a tale of appeasement? That and more is coming up with our guest, the big hijab row that is back after Karnataka, now in Kerala. Also on the show, we'll talk about what's really ailing Bengaluru. Another row erupts between an industrialist and the government over the infrastructure mess. Later on the show, we'll also get you snippets of the Indian women's team visit to a temple. Stay with us. That's coming up later. First up, the school stand has been very clear from the beginning as far as the Kerala hijab row is concerned, that this policy, their policy of uniform and the fact that other kind of coverings or any kind of dress is not allowed is a 30-year-old policy. Parents have already agreed to it, including the parent and the child in this case. Later, we are being told that the parents relented as well. They were willing to go back to the dress code after mediation between the school and the parents. But it is strange that even though on ground the issue was allegedly resolved, the left government still asked the student to allow to wear the hijab, despite the fact that the matter is now sub judice as well. They've made it clear where they stand, and that is the big debate today. The battle, though, did not end with the back and forth as far as the school and the child is concerned. Based on the complaint filed by the student's father, the Ernakulam Deputy Director of Education conducted an investigation and found that there had been serious lapses on the part of the school authorities. But the principal refuted their claims. First, that the child was expelled, which they say is inaccurate, that isn't the action that has been taken at all. Now, Kerala government report says that the school has violated the right to education. The school insists that all other Muslim students in their very school are also following the protocol. And as I mentioned, even in this case, the parents of the child concerned had already agreed to the dress code. Government says that the school should relent and allow the hijab in classroom. The school says that all kids are treated in a similar manner in a secular country. Now, the Kerala High Court granted police protection to the school after protests erupted in this matter. The High Court has initially, as far as the first hearing is concerned, supported maintaining order and also institutional autonomy. But they did encourage that there should be a dialogue between the parents and the management. That seems to have happened. But the matter is now scheduled for another hearing on November 11. The government, though, remember, has already intervened before the court could decide one way or the other. But let's take a look at what has happened in courts on this very issue when it came to Karnataka, for example. Back in 2021, this row had erupted and had gone on for quite some time in the state. A 2-judge bench of the Supreme Court, after the Karnataka High Court backing the institution policy, the Supreme Court had delivered a split verdict. So what did that split verdict say? Justice Hemant Gupta had upheld the Karnataka High Court's decision, arguing that the uniform dress code was a reasonable restriction and necessary for maintaining equality and discipline in education institutions. He emphasized that the hijab is not essential Islamic practice under Article 25 of the Constitution. But Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia disagreed with the High Court, stating that wearing the hijab is a matter of personal choice and individual dignity, emphasizing the right to privacy, freedom of expression and freedom of religion as enshrined in the Constitution, and saying that the focus should be on facilitating education for girls and not restricting it. With that, the big question we asked today is simply this. This row is now erupting in Kerala after Karnataka. Has the Kerala government response in a way uncovered the appeasement associated with certain parties, with certain governments or with certain groups when it comes to the issue of simply following uniform rules?
Kerala High Court. Anyway, we will follow management respective rules and regulation.
വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനിയെ ശിരോവസ്ത്രം ധരിച്ചതിൻ്റെ പേരിൽ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നിന്ന് പുറത്താക്കിയത് ഗുരുതരമായ കൃത്യവിലോപവും വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ അവകാശ നിയമത്തിൻ്റെ ലംഘനവും.
Vote bank matters, and therefore these people are now bullying the school in a way. Vote bank to prevail above rules and regulations.
Let's go across to our guest joining us, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, Professor Roni K. Baby, spokesperson of Kerala Congress joining us, Rashmi Sawant, activist, and Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, also with us. Professor Baby, I begin with you. What justifies the fact that the state government has already intervened in this matter, saying that the school must allow the hijab, even though that they know that there are precedents where the courts have not backed that policy. They have backed institutional autonomy. They have also talked about reasonable restrictions that institutions can place. And also in this case, the court has not decided the matter one way or the other. On top of that, your party colleague has come out to the media and said that the matter has been resolved on ground. So why this, why this urge for the Kerala government to dictate?
The matter is already amicably settled, thanks to the Honorable MP from Ernakulam, Hybe Eden, and other Congress leadership from the Ernakulam.
Yes.
The issue is settled between the school management and the father of that particular girl, and who demanded for wearing hijab. But the vested interested parties like the state government and other communal forces, they are taking advantage of this situation. What the Honorable Education Minister Sivankutty,
yes,
the first day, his response that everyone should respect the rules of the school. And 24 hours after, he changed his stand. And now he has taken a position that the rights of the student should also be respected. But here already there is a court judgment in 2080. That is the management's record. It was on Fatima Tasneem versus State of Kerala. In that case, the Honorable Kerala High Court categorically stated that rights of a student cannot override the large interest, discipline and uniform regulations of an educational institution. In the school diary of that particular school, from clause 30 to 33, it is clearly spelled out that there should be a uniform pattern of dress code in that school, and everyone who is getting admission in that school should follow that dress code. The father of that particular girl also signed in an affidavit that we should also follow the rules and regulations of the school. But anyway, unfortunately, he changed his stand and he insisted that his
So why has that
daughter,
happened? Why has that happened? The BJP claims this is because of Muslim appeasement. The left government in Kerala does not want to take on the Muslim community. In this case, the BJP is also claiming that Congress ally, STPI, we know their background already from states like Karnataka and otherwise, that STPI, which is your ally by the way, the Congress's ally, They are behind these protests and needlessly disturbing the atmosphere in the state.
See, I strongly expressing my protection of your statement that SDP is an ally of Congress in Kerala. We don't have any kind of understanding or any kind of connection with the SDP. That's another outfit. They are functioning in their own way. Congress, which is leading the UDF, United Democratic Front, and SDP is not a part of that UDF. And anywhere in Kerala, we don't have any alliance with the SDP. I strongly
You don't oppose them either.
Your statement.
No, you don't oppose them. You have taken their support in the past quite openly, even if from outside.
No, we never requested for their support anywhere, even in the last parliament election or any other assembly election or any other local body election. We never asked for their support. We never asked. See, Kerala, you know the background of Kerala. You know the secular fabric of Kerala. People of Kerala, they are strongly opposing. They are strongly taking stand to all communal forces, whether it is majority or minority. We are strongly opposing it, and we are standing for the secular credentials and secular values.
So are you suggesting that the left government then, in some ways, is appeasing the Muslim community by backing this hijab demand inside classrooms? Is that the Congress's view?
Yes, but unfortunately, the position of the state government, or especially the position of the state education minister, it was very, it's very sorry to say. The first incident, he took a stand that everyone should respect the rules and regulations of the school. And within 24 hours, he changed his stand and said that the rights of the student also should be respected, should be protected. So he is, and the CPM at the present Congress, they are playing a kind of minority appeasement just only for winning elections. And our stand, Congress, we settled the issue, amicably settled the issue between the school management and between that particular parent.
Yeah, you say that now. I wanted to go across to Charu if she's back with us, because you know, in different states, when it happened in Karnataka, for example, there was a BJP government in power at that time. At that time, the principal opposition party, the Congress, was critical of what the BJP government was trying to do. So they have also made their mind known as far as this issue is concerned in the past. Rashmi comes from Karnataka. She would remember what transpired in Karnataka in the past. It seems like from state to state, some parties may differ in their stand. For example, here in Kerala, the Congress is not supporting the fact that hijab should be allowed in classrooms, but they did so when the matter erupted in Karnataka. Is there appeasement going around depending on state to state?
Unfortunately, Shivani, what we can see is that in each state, this entire issue has been reduced to political theater, and cannon fodder is unfortunately, young girls are being made cannon fodder. So I think that is very unfortunate. Even in Karnataka, we saw that it was young school-going girls who were dragged into this sort of political theater, and the entire issue was politicized.
Were they dragged? No, I'm sorry, Rashmi, were they dragged into this, or were they fronting this? I'm sorry, let's not give an easy cop-out to girls who did come out in the media and insisted. They were the ones boycotting their classes, whatever forces behind them.
Shivani, there have always been forces, because these are all girls by the end of the day who are under 18 years of age. So there are definitely forces which are, promoting their views. And the minute a political party takes a view, then there is an encouragement to this sort of behavior. I think some benefit of doubt we can, give to these girls because they are under 18 years of age. Yes, they've come out, they have said certain things, but if the college, if the courts are deciding, and on top of that, if political parties decide to then come out and take a stand, that then, sort of destroys the entire sanctity of a legal system, it destroys the sanctity of an educational institution, and it reduces such issues to mere political theater. And that, I think, shouldn't happen. Political parties behaving so irresponsibly is one of the largest reasons why educational institutions have progressed from being just places of education and enlightenment
to political
now
battlegrounds,
being used for political
it happens in college campuses all the time, but there is a justification that college campuses throw up future student leaders, etc., and those are adults. But what justifies politicizing on an issue like this, which has already been settled, mind you, multiple times by courts, that have repeatedly said that institutional autonomy is above individual freedoms. You can go to a different school if you don't like the rules of that school. And also, uniform is not an undue restriction being put in an educational institution which is for minors. Charu Pragya, here the Congress on ground says, quote unquote, communal forces are fanning these tensions. The left government has already issued a dictat that the school has to allow the hijab in the classroom. Who is at fault here exactly? Because insinuation is also on the BJP in the state that somehow, quote unquote, communal forces take advantage of these issues. Who are these communal forces?
Shivani, good evening, and it's good to be on your show after a long break. It's so easy to blame communal forces for everything, vaguely using the term communal forces, or in fact, so many times even right wing. It's such a convenient word to throw around. But look at the irony here. A communist education minister is dictating what a Christian school should allow a Muslim girl to wear. And this is their idea of secularism. How pseudo, how crazy can things be? This is state-sponsored chaos and nothing else. And I find Congress's stand laughable, honestly, because the Congress spokesperson was just speaking. I want to ask him, sir, what was your stand in the state of Karnataka? Just a few short years ago, every day we were debating the hijab row in Karnataka, where you so firmly stood with girls wearing hijab to school, to colleges, and you created anarchy out of it. That is how bad the situation was. Today, you want to support someone because it suits your political narrative. So that is not how the country can be run. You know, this is not secularism. You can't stand for one thing in Karnataka and another in Kerala. Please set yourself straight and tell us where your party stands. In this particular case,
I have clear stand on the issues in Karnataka.
I didn't interrupt you. I was not inviting you to speak. Let me finish. You can come in when I'm done. Shivani, also, you know, when there is a legal precedent for issues like this, it is just craziness to jump in every single time and interfere with the way institutions are working in our country. There's a lot of clarity. From Kerala High Court's verdict in 2018 in the Fatima case, where it was very clearly said that institutional discipline and collective rights is more important than individual exception. Bombay High Court in 2002 also said the same thing, where it upheld the use of the school uniform. Karnataka High Court in 2022 very recently said that a hijab is not an essential religious practice. And if you are going to be encouraging the hijab to be worn like this, interfering with the way an institution is running, what's going to happen for other things? Tomorrow I can say I want to wear a dupatta to a college. Tomorrow somebody can say I want to wear a tilak. Where does the uniform go? See, this has nothing to do with the constitution. This has nothing to do with secularism. This has nothing to do with the freedom to practice your own religion. This, in fact, is clear that there is political opportunism which exists in our country. Yes, CPIM is doing what it wants to, but look at the double standards of Congress. It's appalling.
Can I ask him to come in? Can I ask Professor Baby to come in? He says the Congress took a very clear stand in Karnataka too. What was that stand, Professor Baby?
Priyanka Gandhi said nobody dictates what a girl should wear. Isn't that what the Congress's stand was?
Let him come in. Yes.
Can I come in, Shivani ji?
Sayedji, I'm coming to you next. Yes, Baby, Professor Baby.
In Karnataka, you know that the government has issued a ban on wearing hijab in pre-universities, in pre-university colleges in Karnataka.
Yes.
That is funded by government, funded by the state government. The issue is that the educational institutions which are run by minority managements, especially in Muslim managements, how can the government impose a ban? Or how can the government issue a direction that even the minority students studying in particular colleges, you cannot wear hijab?
Okay, interesting. So you are now making a distinction of the fact that in Kerala there is a minority institution involved. In Karnataka there was a state institution involved.
One more thing is that the present institution where the controversy is going on in Kerala, which is a CBSE school, it's not funded by the state.
Should that matter? If anything, the government, they shouldn't interfere in a minority institution or any private institution, but their rule, which was the case in Karnataka, should also apply to a state-run institution, of course.
In Karnataka or in Kerala, what is our stand? That the school management, they can take appropriate decision. That is the decision of the Honorable.
The school management took the decision in Karnataka as well. Let Charu come in. Okay, once again, you made the distinction. Sayedji, just give me 1 minute. I'm coming to you. You also hail from Karnataka. I know you have a lot to say. Charu, the defense by the Congress.
Yes, he's one factually completely incorrect because minority education institutions actually set their own rules, sir. You should know that. They do not follow what the government makes standard for all government schools and institutions.
Yes,
So
that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying, that in Kerala, the government is dictating to a minority school, which is why they're objecting to it. But in Karnataka, it was a state-run school, which is why they supported hijab.
Exactly what this is exactly with what he's getting wrong. Here in Kerala, there is a minority institution where the rules are clear. The rules of the uniform are very clear.
You study about the minority rights of the Indian Constitution.
One by one, please, Charu.
Article 29 and 30, minority rights of the Indian Constitution.
One second, sir. One second. I get what you're saying, Charu. Limited time, sir. Yes.
Professor Ronnie, here, when the child was admitted to the school, because it was a minority institution, the parents signed a document which clearly stated this is our uniform. Their child was mandated to wear that uniform. The child went to school for months in the prescribed uniform. What happened all of a sudden? And why is it that the government needed to
only 2 occasions
that
he
itself
wear
is
that hijab, not continuously, for months.
Then what you did in Karnataka was the worst things I've seen in recent minds. Instead of helping women advance, instead of helping girls learn better, you were encouraging them to wear a hijab and sit at home if need be. Not even come and give.
Syed Abbas, I think Charu used that word of political opportunism, which is the attack on the left government in Kerala. But I think in this case, there has been religious or cultural or social opportunism as well. As we have seen in the case of Karnataka as well, this hijab issue was politicized to somehow make this about Muslim rights, Muslim freedoms and everything by putting these young girls front and center and using them, as Rashmi said, some sort of a cannon fodder in a larger fight. This isn't really about hijab. The hijab debate has been settled multiple times. So what is this really about? Why are suddenly students coming in and insisting that midterm they want to start wearing the hijab in classrooms?
Rashmi ji, I went to an educational institution where I read the following lines, which will resonate with every panel on this debate. Om Bhur Bhuratsaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Deva Sadimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. It's the most beautiful Gayatri mantra, and let me tell you, every student in the morning assembly prayers was enlightened by this, and we loved it, loved the resonance of it. Isn't religion here? It's there, but do we care? Did a Muslim read? Yes. Did a Christian read? Yes. Did a Hindu read? Yes. Sikh as well. The fact of the matter, here is the duplicity and hypocrisy of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which says, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. But the same Beti is given, choose, hijab ya kitab, hijab ya kitab. Today, if a 14 or a 15 or a 16 or a 17-year-old girl wants to wear a hijab, spread a modesty between her face about a 1 feet cloth, how do you even distinguish that way? Why can't a little girl by her choice have the hijab and her kitab? The fact of the matter, let me just enlighten my dear friend Charu Pragya, who's a leader in politics, who's doing great. Ma'am, you give a choice? How unfair is that? Are you even aware? There is a FIFA international football team which wears hijab. US coach judge who wears hijab. Doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, successful women in the world who
Those
wear
are not
hijab.
classrooms.
Now,
the problem is that.
30 seconds.
Syed,
30,
the problem
30
is these examples
Shivani ji,
that you are
30 seconds.
citing are one, not for
Shivani ji,
minors. They
30
are not
seconds.
for state or educational institutions.
Shivani ji, 30 seconds, please. I've come last into that bit. Just 30 seconds. The fact of the matter, I was on a debate with the national spokesperson of BJP, Shazia Ilmi ji, who said, it is my choice. I will not wear a hijab. Ma'am, I respect your choice. I respect your choice, Mohtarma. But if a girl or a woman with her choice wishes to wear a hijab, what is your problem?
Okay. So two
Why
questions
you give her
arise
choice?
here. Two questions arise here. Is it really
Next,
that young
yeah.
girl's choice? Why is it happening
Yes.
midterm
Good question.
after
I will
signing
answer
the
that. I will
uniform
answer
policy?
I will answer that.
Yes.
Fair question, Shivani ji. Shivani ji, you too are a journalist I've been watching for the last 10 years. I'm sure you have many Muslim women friends. Let me tell you on your show, those who are forced to do hijab is absolutely wrong. It is null. It is void. But let me advocate the fact there are so many wonderful, strong Muslim women who wear a hijab by their choice.
It
It's
is
the
not a
modesty.
symbol
The
of
same
strength
lines of the
or
Christian
otherwise.
side.
Please don't make it that. Don't accord. I'm sorry, but I don't. Syed, one second. Syed, one second. Charu, one second. Syed, I don't like using the female card and all of that when I'm debating an issue. Women issue or not a women issue. But I must say, please don't use a hijab as some sort of a symbol of strength or lack of strength. Okay? Don't give it that much
Okay,
importance.
I will answer this.
This is not about strength or not, whether you wear it or don't wear it. So this is not about whether a strong Muslim woman wears it or a not strong woman does not wear it.
Administration.
You know, all of this talking down on women particularly comes from men.
I'll tell you, I will answer that. Shivani ji, fair
talking
question.
about
And I respect your question, ma'am.
I'm coming to both of you. I know you're itching to come in. 30 seconds to Syed, then I'm coming to both Rashmi and Charu. Yes.
Thank you, Shivani ji. Shivani ji, absolutely fair. My words come from recently I've met a woman, Shivani ji. Her name is Fatima Huda, and she tells me, covering her face, her head with a hijab, she feels empowered. She feels the strength. Many of them don't. I'm talking that perspective.
Okay.
Second point, the same St. Rita's public school, the nuns cover their head. So I see a certain duplicacy and a hypocrisy here.
I'll tell you what.
When you can cover your modesty, why can't a Muslim woman? A simple question. I'm talking about all those.
I believe,
there's a
nuns.
difference.
Okay, one second. Those are, I believe, nuns. They have a dress code for themselves, and there is a dress code for students, right? Students come from all backgrounds. One is the slippery slope. You allow one kind of covering or dress addition. What do you do with the rest? The second is, we are talking about students. We are talking about an educational institution. Even in colleges, for example, a young Muslim woman has the freedom to wear a hijab, right? But in those institutions, corporate workplaces, even government offices, nobody is stopping it. Don't make it like some sort of a ban on hijab in social life. This is about a classroom. And this is about sending a message even to young Muslim girls. You don't have to cover your head for modesty. I absolutely object to that.
No.
That is outside the classroom.
It is by their choice.
No, it is not done by their
That is
choice.
their
Let
truth. The
Rashmi
culture
come
they
in
follow,
if this
the
is
religion
happening
they
by
follow.
choice. Rashmi and then
I think
Charu.
it is by their
Rashmi and
choice.
Charu.
In Udupi, I noticed that, of course, the girls came forward. There was a lot of protest. But end of the day, it was the parents of these minor girls who went out and said that they wouldn't allow their children to go to school.
Exactly.
If the school administration wouldn't allow hijab. So it was the parents who stepped in ultimately. Even in this case, if you read the statements very carefully, the child is making no statements. It is the child's father who is making these statements, and it is extremely problematic that a minor child who is 8 years old, there are parents coming out and saying that, she needs to wear the hijab, and they're fighting with the school administration midterm.
Okay.
If a child does
Limited
not
time.
have the liberty to explore her faith on her own terms, then it is not freedom, it is not empowerment. It is straight up
It
imposition.
is still an individual choice if the girl wants to wear it at home. I don't have a problem with that. Charu, 30 seconds.
Exactly. And that is the distinction I was trying to draw, Shivani. See, there are many places where a uniform is not mandated. Like, for example, right now we're all wearing what we want to wear. Nobody is telling us what to wear. But suppose we are joining the armed forces, or someone is going to an institution which mandates a uniform, or you're joining a college where everybody is supposed to dress in exactly the same manner. That is where this is important, because it is not an essential religious practice as upheld by multiple high courts in our country many
I
times.
need to go beyond this.
At this now,
quotes.
at least 5
Shivani
times.
ji, can I make 10 seconds?
Every single high court has maintained that one, hijab is not essential to practicing Islam, and two, if a uniform has been mandated, then you cannot say I feel like wearing.
Shivani ji, 10 seconds.
Okay.
10 seconds.
No, the
Shivani
issue,
ji.
the larger
seconds.
issue here is, I
Shivani ji,
remember,
10 seconds.
I'm coming to
10
you. 1
seconds.
second, Syed, patience.
If
Even
my
in the
uniform-
Karnataka case, remember the court had talked about the hands behind the scenes, right? Behind the curtains. And because these rows are erupting again and again mid-season, even though there are avenues available to choose what you want to do at the start of the term, my only question is, why is this happening again and again? I think Karnataka settled that debate. So why is this erupting again in Kerala? And why is it that the state government is intervening even before the courts have had a say in this matter? Yes, Syed.
Fair question. I will answer that, Shivani ji, in just 10 seconds. The fact Charu ji very selectively reads High Court orders which are in what you think are in favor. Didn't you see Justice Himanshu Dhulia, what he said? It is a girl's freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of choice. And right to education is a fundamental right and a constitutional right of every
Courts
Bharat
have
ki
decided
beti.
it doesn't
Supreme
supersede
Court,
the
one
institutional
judge of the
policy.
Supreme Court. one judge of the Supreme Court gave a verdict in the favor of hijab. So therefore, you selectively quote High Court, but you
One in
don't
a
quote
multiple
what was said
bench.
of the judge
In a
in the Supreme
multiple
Court.
bench,
It's a
here there were
don't
many other
intervene.
judges.
It's a
That is not
fundamental
what
right. He
happened.
said it's a constitutional right. And okay, now I will go beyond the debate, Shivani ji. I salute you for the fact that you said, and all of us say, a woman must be given education no matter what. With hijab or not hijab is not important here. Educating the girl child is sacrosanct and supreme.
Okay,
Nothing beyond
okay,
that.
but is that
I will
right?
look at
Is
the
that
fact until my
right?
last breath.
Is that right being weaponized in this case, where you're making it about young girl children and then suggesting that their education is at risk just because they're not being allowed to wear a hijab? Is that a fair ask? Because this is a slippery slope. This is seeming to me
It is
about
a
religious
slippery-
stamping
it is-
more
it
than
is
a
a
religious
slippery-
identity.
It is a slippery slope. I'm glad you addressed this, Shivani ji. But the fact of the matter, all those who are politicizing, all those who are weaponizing
They
this,
would
let
in
me
a
agree with
battle,
Rashmi ji here and tell
fighting
you,
for their
is
life,
absolutely
fighting for
wrong.
their
Okay.
It's absolutely wrong. And
So
the
is that
fact
what is happening?
if a woman
Weaponizing and
wears
politicizing
hijab,
of this issue,
wants
despite the
education,
fact that
give
we've
her the
debated it,
education.
and in some
And nobody is
senses
beyond
it was
education.
clear that there should not be this line drawn that people will dictate what is allowed and not allowed inside the classroom. Follow the institution's rules or find another option. I leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us.